All right, we got a wallop of an episode for you because we are ending this rom-com romp, which I can honestly say I hope to never do again on this show. Because we're talking movies, we're talking 2022's I Want You Back and 2003's Down with Love. Chris, it's like Cruel Intentions, only sexier.
I don't know, Cruel Intentions is pretty sexy, but at the risk of sounding like my mother, just stay perfectly still and let him get it over with. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? There is going to be some slight audio differences. Unfortunately, our producer is stuck in the United States. We do hope that he has a safe trip back. So now Scott and I are trying to monkey wrench this thing together. So
ride or die.
Please bear with us as we go on with our show with the 2003's Down with Love and 2022's I Want You Back. And according to Scott's statements, rom-coms he does not want back. Take us away, Scott.
Yeah, I like Halloween when we do horror movies. Even, when we do the Oscars and we watch those movies.
Or in August when we do porn in our horror movie section. That's an old Cheech and Chong joke that just didn't land.
No, it did not.
And I have no editor to get rid of it. So,
but yeah, so I think, like fucking 4 weeks straight of rom-coms. And I swear to God, if come this December, if you're like, let's just watch Hallmark movies, like I'm fucking done with this show.
That's the bridge too far, isn't it?
Yeah. But I will say, like, I picked I Want You Back because I wanted something new and something I haven't watched yet. And after 3 weeks of rom-coms, I can honestly say this surprised me a little bit. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the
first off, I would suggest that you stop picking shitty rom-coms. That's probably why you don't enjoy them. Your rom-com choices are awful, but anyway,
we'll get to yours. Don't worry. But yeah, like in terms of story wise, it was a little bit refreshing, right? Just it wasn't your typical kind of rom-com in which normal play, like spoilers. The storyline would have been like, yeah, they met each other. They would have fallen in love in the middle, then broken up and gotten back with them, and then broken up again to realize they loved each other. But this is literally what they played with. It was a slow burn romance, and they don't realize it till the very end, which the ending is the only thing I had a problem with. But other than that, did you watch this or no?
I watched about half of it and I was sort of like, I didn't really like either of the characters, which doesn't help, right? Like none of the characters, like they weren't even bad. I just didn't really like them, right? So I wasn't super invested. I guess I like my rom-coms a little more. Well, first off, more comedy. This was almost on the line of like dramedy, or maybe because the comedy was fairly dry. You know what I mean?
So where
like it wasn't so farce.
So yeah, where did you finish?
Okay, so now you're calling me out. So I actually watched 30 minutes of hour and 40-minute show. So I watched a third of it. Thank you. Fine. The rug has been pulled out. I watched 30 minutes of this movie.
Okay, so you could have just said no, I didn't watch it, and then we could have left it up. But yeah,
I finished at the karaoke basically right after the karaoke scene.
Oh, okay. So when they dubbed themselves the sad sisters or whatever.
That's right.
We're each other's sadness sisters.
Well, Sadness Sisters sounds like you're Diane Keaton and I'm Meryl Streep and we're in a Broadway play, but I like it.
Yeah, it does. I'm telling you, like, continue with it. It gets pretty good and it gets pretty funny.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna miss the oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. But
well, give us the broad strokes of like what you really liked about it.
Yeah, the Jenny Slate singing, Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, there was that whole thing about like the new boyfriend is the drama teacher, right? So
Yeah, so with her trying to break them up, she goes volunteers, and then there's a nice little subplot where she finds what her calling is as a guidance counselor, which was pretty funny. The kid that she was kind of mentoring, to say, or was her who he relied on, like who he was telling her his problems to with her. He was pretty funny. I like that kid. But all in all, I would say, because it is brand new, I don't want to spoil too much, but it is enjoyable, and it gets you at the end. The only thing I didn't like was the end, because when she realizes that he's the one, that Charlie Day is the one, that was very contrived. But other than that, I thought Scott Eastman did a good job, and I don't really
like Scott Eastman because his name's Scott and your name is Scott.
Yeah, like anybody with Scott in an acting kind of thing does very well.
Like Michael Scott.
No, he's a character. He's not an actor. It doesn't.
He is the regional manager of Dunder Mifflin at Scranton. So let's just.
I enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me.
Which like just fictional characters, Chris.
Non-fictional character.
Fictional characters.
I mean, I guess the critics and the audience are kind of agreeing with you. I mean, it's got an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, which, I mean, rom-coms often take like a bit of a dick punch from critics and then usually have really good audience scores. And the audience says 77, that's solid. It's much better than mine. Like Down with Love ends up having, I think, 66 and a 62. Like, it's not loved across the board. So, I mean, you definitely have a body of people in the internet world that agree with you.
Yeah, because I pick good movies.
It's fucking debatable, but anyway.
But yeah, like I think all in all, for what it is, it is like, especially because we've been on this little journey of rom-coms, it was refreshing.
Don't stop believing.
No, it was just it was just kind of refreshing that it was a different kind of story, right? It wasn't, because in reality, each one we've seen has been pretty much the same story over.
Like, it's the formulaic kind of like boy meets girl, or boy has girl, loses girl, wants to get back with girl, or finds, I mean, although American Sweethearts has kind of got that, like, there's this couple that's supposed to be together, and then like Julia Roberts is there, the one that you don't see, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 100% the same as all the other ones. But
no, that's exactly what the one you're talking about, right? Like, they meet, and then like, I don't want you to spoil it either, but like, clearly there's that point where they realize like, oh my God, like, we're not just platonic, we should be totally banging. And
then it was end credits.
And then it was end credits.
No, that, like, literally once they get to that point, the movie's done. Right.
So that's it. Just the fact that we didn't get to the banging, that's what makes it like groundbreaking for you.
Yeah. But there's a lot of good cameos in this film too. Pete Davidson's like
fucking hate Pete Davidson. Fuck Pete Davidson. Anyway.
God, like, I can't. but anyways, his thing's funny, and I'm
with Kanye on this one.
Oh my God. But I think jumping off a roof into a hot tub, we're going to be hearing a lot about injuries and kids.
Does that happen?
Yeah,
that's 100% going to be a thing then, right? Like, there'll be the hot tub jump challenge, and then teenagers ending up in hospitals because they're fucking stupid. Also, keep the Tide pods out of your mouth.
But yeah, they do it. Yeah, it's a funny part in the film. I won't give it away, but there is a question, because you're more
romantic. Yes,
you've lived a full, I would say, a fuller life than me. You've experienced more.
That's just because I'm old.
Yeah, that too. But have you ever done Molly?
So like a girl named Molly?
No, no.
Like, is that like a boy named Sue?
No,
or
no,
what?
because there is a scene in this film where
I'm not going to admit to using illegal narcotics on a fucking international show. What are you, nuts?
Gotcha, bitch.
I have no idea even what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not Joe
Okay.
Rogan over here, okay?
All right, because yeah, like there's a scene and it's like their reaction to it, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not what this drug does. I'm like, it seems more like they're on LSD than Molly.
I'll watch it, and then I'll Google the use of MDMA, ecstasy, Molly, love drug, any of those things, and then I'll let you know offline what my scientific opinion is on that. Scene.
That's what you need, right? Like, just Google stuff, and then you're gonna have a scientific opinion. Right? You'll be right.
And if it works for vaccines, it's got to work for movie stuff. So okay, quick stuff though. Like, so would you recommend it?
Yes, I will recommend it because it does get pretty good. Like, I'm surprised you only went half an hour.
That's also what she said, and it wasn't half an hour.
Yeah, I know it was only. Wait. We'll only need 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. Isn't that the joke?
Yes.
Isn't that the joke from your movie?
We'll be 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
And then they're all super happy. They're like, 10 minutes. Yeah. So when we'll get with your film, Down with Love. First, my daughter. Well, I just have to get some stuff out before you start talking.
Oh, okay.
First, my daughter, my oldest, says you owe her 2 hours of her life back.
Right. It's not a 2 hour movie. It's hour 40 minutes.
Really? Because
so I don't know why she's charging extra interest.
Because it felt like we were watching the Lord of the Rings extended cut. So yeah, so she says you owe her that, and that you really need to think about your movie choices. Pause.
Go ahead. Let your daughter finish. Yeah.
She said, think about your movie choices. Pause, and then go a different route. Just pick a totally different movie because you have no taste in films.
Oh shit!
Don't make me have to like chop your daughter's opinion and criticism up online. Has she watched any of the movies you suggested? I think you're raising. I'm gonna have to call CAS because I think that you're raising your children in a bad environment around film criticism and film appreciation. So.
She was in tears with American Sweethearts.
This is what I'm talking about. I think that you're actually there's a line, and like if you do not teach your kids enough about quality art, I almost feel like it's a bit of like neglect. So maybe we got to have a conversation with child protection.
No, man, this movie was bad.
This movie is so good. It is so good.
Like I now know why, and this is not a knock because Hollywood's a fecal bitch, but I now know why Peyton Reed didn't work for a while until Marvel called them to go make Ant-Man, because he made this piece of shit. He should have stuck with Bring It On.
Yeah, but then he also. Okay, so I mean, we can let's just do this back and forth and kind of talk about that. So Peyton Reed did Bring It On, made like a ton of money off of that. He did this. It made like 40 million on a $35 million budget. Then he
made TV shows for a while.
And he also did Yes Man, and he also did The Breakup, and all of those made a ton of fucking money. Which is normally your thing. And then he did Ant-Man and Wasp, it's a weird pivot. Like it's a weird, like, hey, was he doing some stuff in TV that would make you think that he would do Marvel movies? These are Marvel, right? They're not DC.
Yeah, they are Marvel, but no. Well, in terms of Ant-Man, it was supposed to be, oh my God, Adam McKay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Look Up guy, Vice. But then he had some scheduling conflicts, and if I'm not mistaken, he originally it was supposed to be Edgar Wright. It was supposed to do Ant-Man.
Okay, this is not a show about Ant-Man. So,
but it should be, because that is way just more entertaining.
The reality is that if the reason you probably don't find this film funny is because you don't realize it's like an homage to a whole classification of like films that came out in like the late 50s and the early 60s, right? But this one specifically is like parody homage to like the no sex comedies like Pillow Talk and Lover Come Back, which were both like Rock Hudson and Doris Day films, where you couldn't talk about sex, you couldn't openly have these things, so you did like just a ton of innuendos. Even the editing, which was really like the cinematography, the editing, the costume, the set design, like that's such a beautiful film to watch, even without the like really witty script.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Go
Okay.
ahead,
I'll give you that. Like, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Set design, costume design. Yeah. So the way to watch this film is to put it on
With
mute.
the sound up.
No, to put it on mute, because that's like this dialogue was.
So I actually want to
cringeworthy.
unpack this because the dialogue is super sharp and super snappy.
I'm out in the park with my little French poodle, and she's just not ready to go in yet, if you know what I mean.
How is this dialogue super snappy?
Because it's so full of double entendre and so full of innuendo. And again, it's very much playing through those throwbacks to the 1960s. So it's much harder to write like that than to just write in like everyday speech. You know what I mean?
Oh, so when they do the split screen and she's supposed to be giving him a blowjob,
Yes,
and he's supposed to be.
All of that actually goes back to those late 50s, early 60s kinds of films. And I think editor Larry Bach, who he did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Pump Up the Volume. He also worked on Bring It On, which explains why he'd be on this film. I think he did a really great job with that. And again, he wouldn't be in charge of the motion graphics and stuff, but even the little like animations and stuff, like it's you need to go and watch those 60s films and you'll understand, like, this is almost like cut for cut a throwback, except it's got such a great feminist message to it. Like, it's such a progressive film. Yeah.
Really?
Did you not actually like listen to the dialogue?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I think I watched this movie when it first came out and never again. And
So wait, and then you watched it for the show, right?
Yeah, and then I watched it for the show, and then when it does the twist at the end, when it was like, oh, I was actually this person, and then I knew I had to do this and this and this and this to get to here.
Yeah.
So like they're like trying to one-upmanship.
Yeah.
Do you know who did that better?
Who?
Fucking Rick and Morty, when they had their like heist episode, and they're like, okay,
when was Rick and Morty first off a cartoon TV show? Was it in 2003?
No, it wasn't.
There we go. Okay, so moving on.
Also, not in 2003, but I honestly thought that's why this movie came out until I did the research on it. I thought this was just like a knock on Mad Men at the beginning.
Except that Mad Men came out
like later, yeah.
Well, Mad Men is set in the 60s. This is set in the 60s, so you know what I mean? And that's the reason why Mad Men, there's actually a reason why the scripts for Mad Men are written the way they're written, because they really want to show the blatant like homophobia, the rise of feminism, and like the embedded racism in that time period, the class warfare, like that stuff's all in Mad Men because that's what happened in the 60s. You know what I mean?
But can you, like, you had an opportunity, Chris, especially when we're talking about picking movies, like you could have like ran this whole month, because if you went, like, what was the first film you picked?
Was it Bridget Jones' Diary?
Yes.
Which is also Renee Zellweger.
Okay, I know, but you're gonna see where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So now you go, what was your second film?
Pretty Woman.
And then you went with this.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite rom-coms.
When you could have gone
up there with like Bridesmaids and Trainwreck.
Yes, but you could have gone and put a nice bow on this. You could have picked Notting Hill, and what you now have the Julia Roberts playing technically the Richard Gere character, and the Hugh Grant playing the Renee Zellweger character, and it could have all came for a circle.
Why the fuck didn't you pick that instead of the awful fucking movies you did pick?
No, because I thought I honestly thought that's where you were going with your picks. And I was
No,
like,
man, I actually
he had
liked
some.
the movies. I
I'm
think
like,
though. I
I'm
didn't.
like,
There was no
I was like,
structure
oh,
to
he
it.
has some symmetry on this. He has some symmetry, right? And then when you pick this piece of shit,
This is a fantastic movie. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, it
Nell
was
Minow
not
from
good.
Common Sense Media says it's a hilarious spoof on 60s comedies for a mature 14 plus audience. And I mean, it's just simply wrapped it up. It's not quite a musical, but it's got a like lot of music in it, which makes it super fun. Interesting. It actually opens with Judy Garland singing the title, like this title song on the Ed Sullivan Show, Down with Love. Funny enough, Renee Zellweger won her Oscar for playing Judy Garland in 2020. So I thought that was kind of interesting. A little bit of like moving together, the universe.
Are you gonna do your can moment?
Oh, are you talking about the fact that also lots of the music is done by Canadian music sensation Michael Bublé?
Yeah.
Burnaby, BC.
I went to go see him live. He's very good.
I bet he is good.
Mhm.
I mean, again, if you don't know those kind of older films and know that they're doing that, like making that homage, you're probably like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Like, it's a bit too campy, but it's campy for a reason. Like they're both like celebrating and kind of like mocking those films, right? I mean, the fact that like Rock Hudson was like the biggest like sex symbol and had to hide the fact that he was gay. Like, I mean, like these are all crazy issues that came out of the 60s. You know what I mean? Well, he didn't come out in the 60s. He came out when they found out he had AIDS. The DOP on this too.
As if
Well, it's true, man.
it's like it's so nonchalant. Like, no, you didn't come out that. It was during the 80s.
It was during the AIDS crisis, unfortunately, and he passed away. It's actually one of the things that got Ronald Reagan on board with, like, finally declaring the HIV crisis a crisis or whatnot. But yeah, as I said at the beginning of when my segment here is that like it looks really beautiful. So like, okay, fine. If you don't like the dialogue and stuff, it is very pretty. It is well costumed. It is well shot. The DOP, Jeff Cronenworth, maybe. So he's actually done really well for himself. He's got 2 Oscar nods and a BAFTA nod. So he's the DOP from The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Fight Club, and Being Ricardos, which is an awful movie that's being nominated for way too many fucking Oscars. But we can talk about that in our Oscar show. I mean, it stars Renee Zellweger and Ewan McGregor, which are both, fantastic actors. And then backed up by Sarah Paulson and David Hyde Pierce. Like David Hyde Pierce's character, I mean, he does kind of always play his character from Frasier. Yeah. I didn't realize, so this fucking guy has 4 Tony nominations and has won 2 Tonys. So he's like a fucking motherfucking theater whirlwind, you know what I mean? On the stage and screen.
Yeah, the out of the performances, the only performance I enjoyed in this film was Sarah Paulson's.
She's good. She's really good at it.
She is really good. But it was funny, like I don't really do critics or not critics.
You don't
but
do them? What do you mean you don't do
them? I don't do them. Like,
no, what do you mean you don't do them?
Like in terms of critic like reviews and what they say.
Oh, but, okay, gotcha.
But the Rotten
here we go. This time you're going to?
Yeah. Like this is gonna put it on a bow. It's literally the Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus, and it looks great. But Renee Zellweger and Ewan McGregor have no chemistry together, and the self-satisfied, knowing tones greats. This is 100% a skip. You do not need to watch it, especially if this is a homage to 1960s. Maybe if you built this up, maybe if we did these 1960s things, which I'm most likely never gonna do.
Okay, that sounds like a fucking challenge.
I might pull a you and be like, you got me. I got 15 minutes. I saw the title card. It looked pretty good. It was a nice title card.
I saw it come up on Netflix.
I watched the trailer. It didn't look good.
I watched the honest trailers. That's all you need to do. They're the Coles notes of the film critic world.
But yeah, I'm 100% shocked you like this movie.
Are you really shocked?
I am. this does not seem like this is way too big budgety to be indie for you. So like Bridesmaid,
it had a fucking $35 million budget. That's not really big budget. That's the mid-budget.
In 2003, that's like
still
200 million now.
It's basically Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the DOP. So his dad, who passed away at 60 some odd years old, is the DOP from Blade Runner as well. And he's actually considered one of the most influential cinematographers, probably because of that film. As voted by the American Cinematic Society.
So I'm sure one day we'll do Blade Runner, and you can discuss
go back
this
to
guy
back.
instead of talking about the nepotism of his son. You have nothing good to say about his son. You're like, fuck it, but his dad, like, fuck, his dad was good, eh?
Anyway, you know my opinion. I'll let Scott finish out unless he's already done.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com. The whole time I was like cringing, like the dialogue. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and that's the thing. I usually find something that I can like hand my hat on. Like, you got this, right? Like, it's good for this.
Yeah.
And I got nothing on this.
Other than the costume, like the aesthetic, like it looked really like they did. A great job with the costume.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I wish I had Renee Zellweger's apartment in 1960s.
Buddy, you fucking see that shit? Actually, I'd take Catch Your Blocks too, man, with all the like fucking buttons and stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised yours isn't that.
This fucking mirror on the ceiling, fucking revolve.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.